Welcome, So-La-Rah here. I hope you guys are doing well, especially in the aftermath of Monday's new moon in Cancer. I have no words for that. Like, intense doesn't even seem to do it justice. That new moon was crunk. Let's put it that way. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you found your way back above water again, especially my fellow water signs, my Cancerian friends, or those of you with heavy Cancer placements. It's been real for us, right? But anyway, I'm here to do a reading and to get into some of the energies that have been occurring in the past couple of days. I have a few downloads, but we're mostly going to delve into the cards and see what's going to come up for us. I'm sorry, I'm playing with my selenite here. I'm employing all manner of grounding practices right now in the midst of this really interesting energy that really we just have to flow with. That's what I'm recognizing more and more. We really just have to flow with it. So I want to welcome you here if you are returning. Thank you to all of my subscribers. I appreciate you guys so much. I want to welcome you if you are a recent subscriber. And I want to welcome you if it's your first time here. Do the YouTube thing, like, share, comment, subscribe, But let's get into this, because as I'm speaking about the need to flow with these energies, the reason this is coming up, it's deeper than just the fact that we are in the midst of the first water sign, or the cardinal water sign of the zodiac. But I do want to say that this window between new moon in Cancer and the full moon in Aquarius, because we're getting closer and closer to Leo season, y'all. Where my Leos at? This window between the new moon in Cancer and the full moon in Aquarius, it really is about purging our systems of the timelines that have dysregulated our nervous systems. That's how my guides have been showing it to me, because what's occurring right now is a grand recalibration, and it's going to be occurring throughout Leo season. But I feel like the intensity of it is especially going to be for many of you in this window of time between the new moon in Cancer on Monday and the full moon in Aquarius. What's going to be occurring to prepare us also for the 8-8 portal is this recalibration of our mental and our emotional fields, and then kind of like the marriage of them, in order for us, like I've said in previous readings, to access the truth of our hearts, our stargate. Because when we are able to do that, we are able to recover our divine resources that have been stolen from us by the matrix, for as long as we were living in accordance with the false matrix identities that the false mother system has placed upon us. So right now, we are recovering the true integrity of our mental and emotional fields to bring them back into divine alignment. This is why Gemini season was so tough on the mind, and Cancer season has been so tough on the heart. And when we are able to graduate from the lessons of both seasons, and we're able to amalgamate the truth of who we are, having purged ourselves of the lies of the lies that wanted to tell us we were something else. That's what Gemini season was about. And then those what that had created in our emotional fields. This is why Cancer season is about, the reprogramming of our waters. So right now what's happening is that many timelines are collapsing rapidly at once. Many timelines right now are collapsing rapidly at once. I'm going to say it one more time. Many timelines are collapsing rapidly right now at once. Now, what does that mean? Okay, so when a timeline collapses, it doesn't mean necessarily that it's just going to leave your life. Okay? When a timeline collapses, the energies from that timeline may revisit you in order for you to purge. But it's also coming up for you to decide whether you're going to grab a hold of that timeline again, or see it for what it is and let it go. Okay, but right now what's happening is that multiple timelines are collapsing, especially as we make our way to this 8-8 portal. And it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. It's not happening to us, it's happening for us, right? So even the most painful situations that are occurring right now are there to collapse these old timelines that are not going to serve you walking in, are not going to serve you being able to walk in your highest timeline for love, your highest timeline for joy, your highest timeline for abundance. All of this is crashing down right now. And of course, we have a good measure of fuckery that's thrown into the mix, because without the fuckery, there's no collapse. As I've said to you guys, and I will continue to reiterate it, the attacks are our activations. So in other words, without them purposely reopening old timelines to get us stuck, we would not be able to purge them and allow them to fully collapse and fall to the wayside. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I spoke about this in the video. I did last week, how the Matrix, there's a lot of timeline fuckery that constantly is occurring. And the closer we get to certain events, certain portals, certain dates, the more that they will try to mess with timelines, open timelines, ultimately to take us out of alignment. But if we are operating in divine wisdom and we are utilizing the power of our own intuition and our own gifts, we are able to surf through the energies of this to get on the timeline that we want to be on. And please understand and overstand, this is about the timeline you want to be on. We have always been choosing the timelines we end up on, whether we were doing that consciously or not. And I was actually literally just having this conversation with a client today. At every turn, every decision we make opens a possibility of a different timeline. So I want to be very clear with you about the twin flame journey also. Because remember I said to you the new moon in Gemini was bringing in new divine contracts, and it was bringing in new wisdom and information surrounding the so-called twin flame journey. And y'all know I don't care for that term. Now, many people get stuck, and this is where I don't want you guys to get stuck. I don't want y'all stuck. Many people get stuck with this idea of the twin flame journey, that because you align with someone and there's this energetic pull and you feel this strong resonance, and you call that person your twin flame, and you even see, that you see the things that you're here to do on the earth plane, not just in the 5D. You see the things that you're meant to do here on the earth plane. And then people get locked into what it is that they've seen and the possibility of that. But I want you to know that there are multiple timelines that are always going to be available to you with every being that comes into your resonance who is significant on your journey. But in order to access the highest timeline with that being in the physical, you both must be on the same energetic wavelength. And I want to say this to you because there's a lot of fuckery in the Matrix when it comes to this twin flame thing, to keep people stuck and holding on to a person because they've seen the possibility of the highest timeline with that person. Now, the timeline exists. It does exist. It's real. Okay? But I want you to know that it takes both beings to jump into the realness of that timeline. Okay, so if you are, and it gets very complicated, and I don't want to get too immersed in this today, but if you're on a journey with someone, and at some point you or that person, or both of you, because most of the time in these very strong energetic connections, we're just mirroring one another, so it's actually both of us, shrink back in fear or doubt, then you are introducing that energy into the energy field of the union. And when you do that, if you're not aware, you can actually open an alternate timeline. That's how sensitive these unions are. That's how sensitive we are as energetic beings. It's been happening like that forever, but we just weren't consciously aware. But right now, it's magnified because we are at a period of time where, because we're at the change of ages, and we are purging the age of Pisces out of our personal and collective reality and fields in order to welcome in the age of Aquarius, which is the dawning of this new Earth era. Because all of that is happening, timelines are collapsing rapidly, so therefore your ability to jump and shift onto a newer timeline, it's available to you like this right now. And literally, that's what some of us are going through, and we don't even realize why you're so tired. It's because you're literally jumping timelines at a very rapid rate right now. And I always tell people, I compare it to in the natural, if you have to take a long distance flight and you're jumping across many time zones, you get to your destination, you're going to be tired from the travel, and you're going to be tired from having crossed many time zones. This is what we're doing on an energetic level right now. So be very conscious at every level to decide if you're going to opt in or opt out of a certain timeline, and be very aware that it is your conscious decision. Do not give your power away right now to external issues and circumstances. What timeline we get to be on is ultimately up to us and our own belief, our own faith, and the emotional energy we put behind it, which is exactly why our emotional fields have been going through such profound recalibration, so that we can align with the timelines that are actually a true reflection of who we are divinely and who we really always have been and always were before we were programmed out of this truth by the Matrix and her false mother systems. I hope I'm making sense here, because this is really deep, it's really complex, and it can really be very finicky, the details of all of this timeline jumping. So anyway, I had an interesting new moon in Cancer. And when I awoke the next morning, I smelled something very interesting. So one of my abilities is that I can psychically smell. And this is somehow, it's not like my strongest gift, but it's somehow how these things are shown to me. And when I woke up on Tuesday morning, I smelled a frat house. And what I mean when I say I smelled a frat house, I smelled sex and urine and beer. And let me tell you, none of that is going on in this household right now. There's no sex, ain't nobody pissing on the floors, and I don't drink. There's no beer, So this is how I knew this was a message. And for me, all joking aside, whenever I get that psychic sense with the smell of urine, I always know it's sex magic. And very oftentimes it's Venusian sex magic. But the beer was a different level. So when I started to tune into the energy a bit, they were showing me that there was a lot of sex magic done over this new moon, but it was done, I feel like, orgy style. That's what I was picking up on. And that's, of course, because they're wanting to raise up more energy. The most potent energy you can utilize on the planet is sex energy. It is literally what creates all, and sex energy, again, I want to remind you, it's not two bodies coming together and fucking. That's not sex. I mean, that's one form of sex, but it's not sex energy. Sex energy is the merging of opposites. It's the merging of the masculine and the feminine component to create a third, to create something. And I want to draw your attention to the fact that, like I said to you, we are having moved through Cancer season and done this whole 1919 on my clock, having gone through all of this purging in order to reprogram our own waters and to take back our waters and our own emotional resonance. That was in order to facilitate a grand union within self, okay? And the grand union within self is the reclaimed Christed mind and the reclaimed Christed waters, your waters, in order that now, moving forward, you're able to create a reality here on earth that mirrors who you are in the heavens and cosmologically. Because, and this is just going to be a very quick energy lesson, so we say as above, so below, right? So you can say above are the spiritual planes, below are the physical and the material. But in order for those energies to come through and be made real in the below, they must go through the mental and the emotional planes. In other words, they must come into access with your thoughts, and then your thoughts must attach to an emotion that therefore will express that mental energy into the physical. So that's how it works. It's the spiritual planes, the mental planes, the emotional planes before it becomes physical. So right now, what is happening for us on a grand level, this grand union energy, is that because the Matrix programmed us out of our divine reality through our mental and emotional fields, through the mental and emotional planes, through programming us to think certain ways and then to accompany that with feeling certain ways, which was part of the mental fuckery, but the feeling certain ways is also done by way of them messing with timelines of trauma that then have us in situations where our nervous system is dysregulated unnecessarily, and therefore we are magnetizing more of those energies towards us. You are an electromagnetic being. Your emotional energy is your feminine energy. What you are feeling, you tend to, okay? So if they can mess with your mind and then tune your emotions using frequency fuckery as well as timeline fuckery, in other words, getting you perpetually stuck in cycles of trauma based upon, past timelines, because you don't even realize it's possible. You don't realize why you're all in your feels and all this other stuff. It doesn't make sense. It's coming out of nowhere. You don't realize why when you align with a certain person, you're feeling so strongly and intensely. It's because you've hit a certain timeline where that feeling has, once upon a time, you've gone through it. And you're replicating it now in your own physical reality because that information is still locked in your DNA. It's deep. Now, they know all of this about you. The ones who are, running this sham, they know this about you, but you don't know this about yourself. We didn't know this about ourselves. So we're living wildly, we're living crazily because we don't know how we function as energetic beings. We don't know how we function as electromagnetic beings. We don't know that we're being constantly, and I mean constantly, manipulated mentally and emotionally in order that we are manifesting a reality on the earth planes that's contrary to who we are in the heavens, okay, or cosmologically. And to this extent, this is how they did all the fuckery with the doppelganging energy and stealing your true divine resources and dishing them out to other people and programming their mental and emotional fields to be able to manifest your energies through them. That's how it all works. So I know that's really deep and that's really complex, but I want to take it back now to what it was that I was picking up on Tuesday morning, fresh in these new moon energies. The whole point of this ritual, or these rituals I feel like they were doing on the new moon in Cancer, was to continue to create distortions between the mental and the emotional fields in order that there's no a grand union. There's no marriage between your masculine and feminine energies. Now, why is that important? Because it's deeper. It's deeper than just your ability to be in union with self. Because if you're not in union with self, if your energy is not back in a state of wholeness and harmony, you are still then attracting and magnetizing towards you energies that reflect that. So you're still attracting towards you energies that, are discordant. In other words, you cannot attract divine union. This is all a part of it too, because at the crux of all of this fuckery, part of it is they don't want you in inner union. But why? Why don't they want you in union with yourself? Well, first and foremost, because when that happens, you access your superpowers. You access your ability to walk up to that 8-8 portal and take back everything that the devil stole from you, the matrix system. But you also access the ability to magnetize into your fields exactly what it is that is divinely yours, including divine unions. So there's been a lot of fuckery because we are in 4 of Cups energy, which is Cancer, the last decan of Cancer. There's been a lot of fuckery with unions that have been coming together, right? Or inner union, or both. There's been a lot of fuckery of trying to cause just minor distortions that cause people to react and choose a different timeline. And that's ultimately the confusion that's going on. Now, that doesn't mean much, like I said, there are so many different timelines we can choose with different people. You can still get yourself back into a state of calibration. I just want you to know that this is the energy we're dealing with. This is why there's so much up and down, because literally timelines are being fucked with and altered and open to mess with you emotionally. Frequencies are being put out there. If you are a person who is due for divine union, you probably are being targeted. All of that stuff is happening to create this sea of confusion. Because within the confusion, you get lost. And the whole point is to try to get us lost in the emotional waters right now. When I did my video on Sunday on, the new moon in Cancer, opening the door, and the way out was by way of the Divine Mother opening the opportunity for us through healing. And the message that kept on coming up was, don't get lost in the injury. Pull the value from the lesson and keep on moving forward. Because this is where we are right now. We are in a state where we are, how do I explain this? We are being put in situations to purposely cause emotional distress, to cause dysregulation of the nervous system. But it doesn't have to stay that way. We can actually utilize these energies to heal all of the dysregulation and all of the timelines that have dysregulated our nervous system, not only in this lifetime, but across lifetimes. So what I'm saying, guys, is that there's a lot of attacking going on. There's a lot of spell work. There's a lot of targeting from every angles. But what it actually is doing, it's opening up a sea of energies where you actually get to surf and choose, if that makes sense. So don't feel right now like you're being caged or contained, because that's an illusion that they also want you stuck in, so you don't see or access the vastness of what is actually available for you right now. I hope that makes sense, because it's so much, it's so deep, it's so complex, it's so intricate, it's happening on so many levels that it's taken me a minute to be able to get to the bottom of this. Do we want to go into this karmic deck or the other one? Let's go into one of my Karmic Chronicle decks to get some more answers. There are past life feuds that are being awoken. There are past life pains and traumas that are being magnified right now. This is what you're feeling also in your emotions. You're feeling when those timelines have been opened, whether it's been done nefariously or not. A lot of the time it is, in order to deter you. Okay? But also, those energies can also be some of your greatest lessons, because they're here. Ultimately, what they're trying to do nefariously is working for you divinely to purge yourself of those timelines and those energies that once upon a time threw you out of divine order. The way an energy leaves is the same way it enters. So when these things enter into your reality, right? Don't get too lost in the feelings or the emotions. That's what that video, the New Moon in Cancer video on my other channel, is about. Ask to be shown the doorway. Ask to be shown the lesson. Ask to be shown the timeline possibilities. Ask to be shown what the timelines are doing. Ask to be shown. You will be. You will be. So look at this. I just said this. At the bottom of the deck, no way out. Casting illusions. That's what these energies want to make you feel in your emotions, to have you so emotionally overwhelmed that you feel like, oh my gosh, this is happening again, or this feeling will never go, there's no point in what I'm doing, yada. All of these things to reprogram you back into states of fear so you miss the higher timeline that is taking you into the 8-8 portal. That's the point. That's the point of all of these energies right now. And I'm going to say it to you as a person who, I'm highly emotional. I have a lot of Cancerian and Scorpio energy, There's nothing wrong with feeling what's going on. There's nothing wrong even with falling. But when you feel dysregulated, ask, what is the information conveying to me divinely? Because nefariously, those energies or beings who are projecting it towards you, interfering, etc., nefariously, those are designed to take you out into a place of either resigning or doubting or fearing, and moving yourself into another timeline that maybe you wouldn't choose if you weren't feeling so discouraged. But divinely, what is being shown is your ability to be able to choose whatever timeline and now become a creator of your own destiny. I hope I'm making sense. Fifth house. This is what we're entering into. We are leaving the fourth house of Cancer and we are entering into the fifth house. So remember I said to you, this corridor between the new moon in Cancer and the full moon in Aquarius is really important for these energies. This is the fifth house, and it has, even at the top I have here 8-8. Right? So the fifth house is very much connected to the 8-8 portal, or your Leo energy, because it's happening in that season. Leo rules the heart. It's the inner child. It's your vitality. It's 1933 on my clock. It's in the tarot. The sun card is the number 19 card. It is the card that brings you not only into divine alignment, but it's because a star card is ultimately what begins to bring you into divine alignment. That's the number 17. But then you got to go through the moon, which is the number 18, to come into the fullness of the sun, which is the number 19. And the sun is not just when you're in divine alignment. The sun is when you're in alignment because you've also reprogrammed your magnetism. You've reprogrammed your fields. You've reprogrammed what it is that ultimately draws things towards you, which are your emotions. You've dealt with the shadow. You've gone into the darkness. You've figured out what is the illusion. And you've managed in the midst of that to recover the energies that have been stolen by the matrix system, a lot of the times through lunar manipulation. You've managed to get back your sun energy. You've managed to get back the pieces of your soul that have been fragmented across timelines because of all of the harvesting, because of all of the traumatizing, because of the constant exploitation of wounded child energy in the matrix. So I'm not going to get into that. If you're new and you don't know what I'm talking about, I talk about this so much in my videos about how the matrix is a false mother system. And if you were looking for that video, that specific video was like, I think 2 or 3 videos ago, where I think it's called like Exiting the Matrix and Final Death Blow to the Karmic False Mother System. I go into depth and I explain some of this stuff in that. But the matrix is a false mother system that was designed to begin wounding us as children, so then we would be exploited as adults, fragmented as children through the wounding, because trauma splits us. So then we would be traumatized adults who, kind of like a Pavlovian experiment, where we are constantly responding to the trauma and the conditioning that has been brought upon us, from the time we've been wounded as children. The matrix is founded upon that, okay? So the Leo energy is the rising of the sun. It's the reclamation of the light. It's the reclamation of all that you've lost because of the harvesting. It is the ultimate healing of your inner child and the grand union of your mental and emotional energies, Gemini and Cancer, so that your sun can rise again, so that the return of the sun, the return of the Christ, the full return of the Christ comes first through the mental fields of Gemini. Then it comes through the emotional waters of Cancer. Remember, Jesus called Peter out to walk on the waters? Then the sun rises in Leo. That's the reclamation of all that was lost. So there attacks again. 5th house. 5th house attacks. So, on a personal level, check out your 5th house. Check out where you have Leo in your chart. That's going to be important for some of you. But also, pay attention to how you're feeling right now. Because the way out and the way to come into alignment with the higher timelines is to choose things and people that help to feed and nurture and heal even your inner child. So it's really important to connect with joy. That's the way out. Remember, Jesus said, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven unless you first become like a child. Become again like a child. Or you become born again. We are rebirthing ourselves right now, so that come Leo season, come the 8-8 portal, our sun can rise. So right now the attacks are all about casting the illusions using super moon energy, because we're in Cancer season, and that's, the moon is what is in charge of what? The waters, the flow of waters. Look what just came out, guys. Water and stagnancy magic. Remember I said on Tuesday I woke up and I was smelling the urine? It's not just the urine, like just sex magic. That's part of it. That's like part of what they're doing. There's so many layers to this shit. But that stagnancy magic in the water, I just spoke about that in the last video. that trying to get people stuck. What are they trying to get you stuck in? If they're stagnating your waters, what are they trying to get you stuck in? Old emotions, shitty emotions that will continue having you magnetizing karmic shit. Because that's what your emotions were tuned into through the matrix. Your emotions were tuned into karmic cycles. We perfected the art of magnetizing to us karmic cycles. Because our waters were programmed and tuned through the energies of the karmic mother, or the false mother system of the matrix. So this is where the attacks are coming right now. And they're designed, like I said, to stagnate you. Why do they want to stagnate you? So you choose a lower timeline. So you magnetize into your fields the options of timelines that are below your true divine emotional resonance, because they don't want you right now to take back your waters. Whew. I don't know, where do we want to go, Spirit? Let's see who's supporting us in this, because I'm going to wrap this up. I don't want to make this reading too long. So I'm going to go into my Keepers of the Light. The Matrix was the Matrix was designed to be an energy harvesting model. It's why it is based upon this whole narcissistic empath template, that for as long as we are in karmic cycles, we are all enacting, because that's what our waters have been tuned into. So right now, divinely, we are purging those templates out of us so that we can come back into alignment, and we can live in our value, and we can treat others in accordance with their divine value, instead of feeling like we have to diminish another just to get by. We were all taught that in order to get by, we had to either manipulate or diminish, because that's the only way to really survive in the matrix. And we've all done it. The most empathic of us have done it. We manipulated to get our needs met because people just wouldn't love us. We've all done it. We've all been a part of giving to the energy cycle. And now we're being given the door out. This is where the coronation occurs. The nodes just switch. The north node is in Aries. It's time to receive back our crowns. It's time for everything to be put back into balance. It's time for true justice to roll out on the earth planes, so that everything is restored back into its rightful place and equilibrium over, whatever time frame that's going to roll out. But it begins with us. We are the ones that are instigating the external changes by doing it first within ourselves, because this whole matrix system was built through our energy fields. It was built through their suggestions. It was built through their subliminals. It was built through their mind control, their frequency fuckery, their traumatizing, their systems, their institutions. It was all built and designed to program our energy fields to manifest a false reality, a false matrix system. And so now, in order to get it right, we must take back the fullness of our own energy, which is deeper, so much deeper than just saying, I'm taking back my energy for me, because I want to do this. No. We're taking back our energy in order to create a new earth. We're taking back our energy in order to create a new earth. New earth is birthed through us. When we are at peace within self, when we are in union within self, this is what will happen in the world. We've always been creating, or I should say, we've always been manifesting the reality that we've been living in here on the earth planes. And now we're being called to take back our creator ability so we can create on the earth plane in accordance with who we actually are. There's a difference between creation and manifestation, guys. And that doesn't mean manifestation is bad. Everything has its place. The manifesting of an energy is utilizing someone else's or something else's, something other, in order for it to flow through you and to then have it manifested in the physical. It's not quite the same as creating. As a creator, you have the ability to connect with your divine resources and pull that into the earth planes. You have the ability to pull who you are divinely and your divine resources into the earth planes. So you create a reality that is in accordance with who you are versus who it is that you've been told you need to be. Manifesting almost always requires the taking of something in order to not create, but to manifest. It's a false creation template. And again, there are times for manifestation. There are times to take energies that exist and to use them to manifest or create something in the physical. But it's gotten out of hand. This is exactly why around 2020, when they were doing all of their major timeline fuckery, especially with divine unions, when the nodes were still in Cancer and Capricorn, which I got into in that video that I mentioned earlier, that's why all of a sudden it became such a mainstream phenomenon. Spirituality started to enter into the mainstream, and everyone's talking about manifesting by the moon. What did you manifest? Oh my gosh, let's shift. Because they were introducing chaos into, well, first and foremost, because it was helping people to increase the energy harvesting. In other words, people were manipulating lunar energy and not recognizing or realizing that when you manifest by the moon, you're manifesting by the energies that have been stored by the moon. And you're manifesting anything that's in the moon that matches what it is that you're wanting to manifest or the emotion you need. So it's not necessarily your energy, probably isn't. It's the energy that's been stored in the moon through all of the matrix fuckery. And so if they can get more people involved in doing that unconsciously, they're furthering their own agenda. That's why it became so popular. Joan of Arc, voice of truth. Yes. Stand strong. Focus on your purpose. Release the fear of persecution and speak your truth. Now more than ever, it is so important to stand in your truth, to speak your truth, to articulate what it is that you're feeling, to yourself first, but also to lose the fear and the frequency fences that want to keep you from expressing who you are. Remember, we are moving into the full moon in Aquarius. We're in that gateway now. We're sailing out of the new moon in Cancer towards the full moon in Aquarius. It's time to take back your voice. It's time to take back your authenticity. It's time to get real with self. Like, whenever we begin to move into these Aquarian energies, like in a pronounced way, it's always about realigning with the ability to be real. But it's also about our service. It's also about our service to humanity. It's also, it gears us up for what's coming next, which is in Virgo season. It's like that energy of complete liberation. The Virgo season comes to liberate our souls by helping us to utilize the freedom we've acquired from our light, from the getting back our sun, the return of the sun. The Virgo comes in and it organizes us, right? It organizes us in our day-to-day so that we're using that energy efficiently. We're using that light. We're using our gifts, our talents, our resources that have been given back to us. We're using it efficiently, and that requires a level of accountability and awareness that the Virgo energy provides for us in order that we liberate ourselves from falling into places of misusing or mishandling our freedom or our liberty. So we're entering into a time where it's always important, right? But it's going to be especially important to be radically honest with yourself and those you are in divine union with or divine contracts in order to up-level and catch the highest timeline available for yourself or with them. Okay. Ooh, we've got Commander Ashtar. Call to action. Take charge. Lead by example. Walk your talk. That just is bringing further confirmation. But this is also showing me that, like, right now, galactically, we're being so supported. Even if you don't feel it, like I feel it, I felt it, I've seen it. You know, I've seen how excited certain beings and energies are in the cosmos for the way that we are breaking through barriers and the way we are preparing the energetic pathway to open up the 8-8 portal for more of us to get free. This is why these energies are so crazy, right? We have faith. Okay, so here we have faith, Archangel Michael's twin flame in accordance to this deck. Faith, humanity, and benevolence. So the faith is really important, right? Because the whole point of these energies, they're here to discourage, right? They're here to cause you to doubt. They're here to have you catch a lower timeline or an alternate timeline than that which you've seen and you know is possible. So faith is here to connect you with that. Faith is Jupiter energy, Sagittarius energy. It's the sign of the zodiac that calls us, commands us into living truthfully, living honestly. I like to say that in the zodiac, Scorpio is the energy that helps us dig and find truth. Sagittarius energy says, okay, now we're going to walk in it. It's why in Gematria it's connected to the 144 frequency. And Aquarius energy says, okay, let's now take this out into the world. And let's all live radically, honestly, and authentically with one another. That's the higher octave of those signs, or what they're here to help us do. So faith here, this is a personal energy. If it's like connected more to the Sagittarius, it's a personal energy. Connecting us to deeper levels of expansion. We're being pushed, we're being stretched right now. And it doesn't feel good a lot of the times. It brings up every little fear that's still hiding in your resonance that shouldn't be there. That's why it's bringing it up. So bring the fears out and talk about them. Bring the fears out and have coffee with them. Why are you there? What are you doing in my fields? Why are you showing up right now? Are you even real? Are you even real? Or are you trying to push me back into a timeline I've already graduated from? Are you trying to discourage me and get me to walk in an energy that's not in alignment with my divine truth? Are you trying to steal my faith? Because that's what fear is. Fear is a faith snatcher, faith muncher. Unnecessary fear. This is why it must leave your fields. It must leave our fields. It's coming up to leave. Don't get attached to it. Anything else, Spirit? Pay attention to where this is, where you're feeling this in your body. And then tune in and send that part of you love and peace and balance. I want to remind you that as a divine being, your birthright is peace. So when you are in situations that rock that, it's often a good indication that something is in your fields that is needing to leave. Or someone is playing around with something with you. But even if they're playing around with you, it doesn't matter, because they're still highlighting to you something that is in your fields that needs to be dealt with. This is such a, like this this battle ain't for the weak in general, but this part of ascension, it's my guides keep on telling me it's like it's a make or break. And when I say a make or break, it doesn't mean that, you know, we're doomed if we, no, it's not that at all. It's just that we are being presented right now with situations where it's like either that's going to go forward or it's going to die off completely. It's like a make or break energy, and it's working in our favor. It's working so that we can get rid of those karmic timelines and energies that we don't need to be taking. They should die completely and transmute and come back to us in power and grace and life and vitality and health and all those, you know, beautiful things. But we've got to learn how to maneuver. We got all these timelines collapsing. You know how, like, was it in the Matrix? Like the movie, the backdrop, you see all of the binary falling. It's like that. All the timelines are falling. The Matrix is falling. All the timelines are collapsing. The timelines are collapsing. So don't get stuck under the rubble. Learn to surf and find the timeline that matches your highest truth. But the only way you can access the timeline that matches your highest truth is if you're living in that. So I hope this reading / download / lesson helped somebody. Look after yourself. Do everything you have to do right now to bring your fields into emotional equilibrium, into divine emotional balance. Work with water, especially my water signs right now. Ground in water. Go be with water. A beautiful soul just emailed me earlier, and she said, I'm flowing like water through these energies, and that's how we have to be. And water takes on the form of whatever it's placed into. We have to be like water right now. We must unfuck ourselves from being really stuck and stubborn. We must flow like water and not be afraid of where the tide is taking us. For as long as we're trusting, you know, trusting ourselves is really what it comes down to. So I'm sending you guys so much love, so much peace, so much joy, stability, focus, discernment, clarity for this part of the journey. And we've got this. We're already here, guys. We already are literally here. It's like this is like a picking up the timelines. What do you want to do kind of thing. So live in faith, not in fear. And I will catch you guys again soon. Mwah.